Hi everyone, I'm the Plant Propagator and welcome to my channel. Today it's a beautiful early November morning here in Southwest Florida. Bright, sunny day. Oh my gosh, and I'm looking, yeah, there's a few clouds up there, but for the most part, it's just sunny. So what I wanted to do today is show you some of the flowers that I've seen in my yard. It'd be mostly orchids. I do want to share with you a plumeria on this tree right here that's blooming, but mostly orchids. And the interesting thing about this is I guess I might be getting too many orchids because I'm getting surprised to see some of these flowers. I was in, I look at my orchids every day, sometimes multiple times a day. I'm retired, I can do that. And what I saw yesterday was a bloom on an orchid that I didn't even know was in spike. So, you know, maybe I'm getting too many. Maybe I had to cut back a little bit, but I don't think so. Anyway, what I'm gonna, and we'll see how long this goes. I don't have that many flowering, but I got a real diversity of orchids. I also have an unusual flower on a Catasetum that I'd like to share with you. So we're gonna take a look at a few different orchids and we'll see how it goes. The first one is right here, and this is Vanda Selena. I got this from RF Orchids a few years ago. This thing has done really well in this location. It is just mounted to the side of this Christmas palm. It gets, as you can tell, it gets a lot of sun, especially this time of year. And it has been almost in constant spike. The roots go up around 5 feet, 6 feet, a couple of meters, and then they go down about the same distance. It's also starting to get, and I don't know whether you can see it or if it's off the screen here, but it's also getting a large number of keikis that are growing out of the base. So the plant has maybe around tripled or quadrupled in size this way, and it's constantly flowering, and now it's making like a bunch of keikis, and pretty soon, I think pretty soon the keikis themselves will start to flower, and that'll be interesting and exciting. The flowers themselves are pretty small. They've got this nice blue purple color to them. There are some spots on them, and it's this flower spike. It looks like it's a little bit contorted, a little twisted, and it may be because of the hurricane and the hurricane damage. I have some of my other Vandas that were really damaged a lot more severely. They were kind of pulled off of the tree a little bit, and I had to kind of tighten them back up. But this one seems to be doing extremely well. The top of the plant, we'll see, it may need to be tightened to the tree. It doesn't have any roots growing out of the top part of this, and this is typically what happens is as these things grow up, they put out roots, and so that they can attach as they're growing up the side of the tree. This one hasn't done that. Most of the roots are associated with the base. Anyway, nice flower. The only disappointment here with this plant, flower's a little small, but it's a Vanda, so I'm happy to get any flowers from it. Flowers are a little small, and there's no fragrance associated with it, which is disappointing. Let's smell it again. No, I got nothing. Time of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't get much fragrance out of it. Okay, so that's it for this. Again, this is Vanda Selena, a really nice floriferous plant. Seems to do well and like this location, and pretty vigorous. What I want to do now is get behind the camera and show you some of the other flowers, mostly orchid flowers in my collection. All right, so let me get behind the camera and let's go. Okay, here we are. Well, we're back. And this is kind of pitiful, but I mentioned it, so I figured I had to show it to you. So this is plumeria flower that's coming out on my plumeria. And this is one that was just devastated by Hurricane Milton. So you can see, you know, most of the leaves on this plant are ripped off. There's another flower coming out up here, some more flowers coming out here. There's another flower spike that is right there coming out on this one, but the plant is it just got decimated. It's growing back, so it's doing okay. Also, while I'm up here, you can see here, so this is the flower, the plumeria. It's a nice flower, but then right behind it you can see on this palm tree, so those are all the orchid roots, the Vanda roots that come down, and that's where we started with Vanda salina. Okay, so this just to give you an idea orientation of things. I'm showing you the plumeria flower because I told you I would, but it's not very impressive. I do want to show you this, and I'm sorry, we're sitting on a, you know, on a white fence, so it may be kind of hard to see some of these things until my camera adjusts, but this is a Maikai, and this is the Maikai that I've shared with you previously that is producing so many keikis, and it's still producing more of them. It also has a lot more flowers coming out on it there, but here's one of the large keikis. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see it. Right, I'm not sure if I can even see it, but right in there, I think, is right there is one of the large keikis. Okay, so moving on a little bit here, I do want to show you, and we'll keep on recording while I go. I want to show you, and it's not a flower, well, not really, but this is a capsule on my Encyclia tampensis. But what I wanted to show you this to you is because one of the spines there on this capsule is starting to yellow a little bit. So I think it may be splitting, and there's another capsule right there. And what I'm going to have to do, another one right, it's just so hard to see because it's so bright right there. So that's another capsule that's right there, and these are ready. So the ones that I took in the lab last week are doing well. The seeds are doing well, and these were a little bit behind. They were all green, but they're starting to yellow right now. So I think we're getting ready to go. Okay, let me go down to, let's take a walk. This is a large Dendrobium Wulang that I've shared with you previously. That was from a keiki. There is right here. There is the clear stars that was re-gifted to me. Many of my seedlings, I'm so happy. My seedlings are doing so well. It's pretty exciting. I mean, look at some of the, you know, these are my babies, and some of them are growing really well. Vanda's on here. Again, not flowers, but I do want to show you, this is my oldest Vanda right here, and this thing is huge, for me at least, never flowered. It's got 3 keikis forming on the base. This one got just pulled off of the tree by this bougainvillea up here that I have since pulled back on the top of my shed. And I trimmed it up a lot, even though you can't really tell. I had no leaves, so all those leaves that are up there, that's all new growth that's coming out of this. I got to trim it up a little bit more than I looked at it. But same thing with this Vanda, as far as the Vanda salina that we looked at. The you know, the roots just are growing up pretty far. These roots on this Vanda, they got scraped off by the bougainvillea. It didn't get quite as far to this tree. Again, those are more Vanda roots right there as we go up. Anyway, let's get back to some flowers here and some unusual things. All right, so this is a flower this is in bud, so you're going to see a flower from this probably in a couple of weeks. So we've got a little bit to go here, and then back over here, what we have is another Maikai, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to divide this plant, but you can see these they're very prolific flower producers. So you can see here all over the place there's another flower spike on the left that hasn't quite opened yet. Plant's not even that big, but it's just a real prolific grower. All right, moving on a little bit. This is one of my Dendrobiums that I've used in a few of my crosses. This is Dendrobium Judy Roots, and this is one of the parents of my Dendrobium Woohoo, that you say woohoo. Anyway, so that's this one right here. These flowers are a little bit old. There is white spray on them from the fungicide application. There is another den right up here, and this is a situation I'm not really happy with, because this is a Dendrobium. I think it says the name of this is Pink Sparkle. When you look up Pink Sparkle, it's not registered. I think this is a name that the growers assigned to this plant. You can find this Dendrobium, but it's not registered anywhere, so I think somebody somewhere just named it, which means you don't have history, you don't know what's going on with it, and you can't really name any of your crosses. I'm happy that it's blooming. It's a decent flower, but even though it has a name on the tag, for me and for everything that I'm doing, it has very limited value. Another one of my dens right here, these are the ones that are on the top shelf here that just got torn up and ripped down from the bougainvillea that's above. But these flowers, I mean, they're nice, they're okay, but you can see behind it more bloom spikes there, more bloom spikes there. When these things get stressed a little bit, they tend to bloom. I had one of my Dendrobiums in this large pot here that just fell on the ground. The pot cracked into bits, and I just shoved the roots and whatever was left back into this pot. There's no potting medium in there. They're just in the pot. But then what's happening, if you look up in here, and I'll try to see it, but it's hard to see, there are flower spikes that are coming out of this den. It looks pretty good. There's new growth. And these are, like I said, they're doing quite well. I've got some of my, some of my dens that I've propagated from keikis and divisions are right here. So these are doing, like I said, pretty well. All right, I'm going to move on. Oh, and I should show you, just because I have a lot of seedlings, more seedlings there, more of my seedlings right there. Okay, so I'm going to move to a different part of my my garden and growing space, and I want to show you a few more plants that are actually in flower. Okay, and we are back. So this is Gretchen Garrick, and this is a really small flower. I don't know if you could tell, but this thing has been blooming, I think, for probably close to 3 weeks. It's a great flower. It's starting to decline a little bit, especially the one on the left. I've tried using this in my crosses unsuccessfully, and I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with this. But this is a small plant in a small pot that seems to flower and loves to grow in this location. And again, one of the great things about this plant is how long-lived the flowers actually are. All right, moving on a little bit. This is one of my surprise plants that I didn't see this up until yesterday, and this was growing in the top of my orchid and top of my pergola. I'm not sure what that, we might see a pollination, which would be too bad. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this for my cross anyway. But anyway, this is Nell Hammer Golden Lady. The cultivar is Golden Lady. So this was named, I think the original cross was made by RF Orchids. It was named by them, and then this specific plant that has been awarded was also named Golden Lady. The nice thing about it, what's unusual about Nell Hammer is that there is, this is yellow, and it has yellow flaring in the petals and sepals. So this is a really nice flower. It's the plant we haven't looked at yet. It's a very vigorous plant. I've had this for a few years. I got it from RF Orchids, which is, you know, they are the originator of this. And the thing about this specific plant, Golden Lady, it was called Golden Lady, but the thing that makes it unusual is the touch of red in the lip. So that is unusual. Most of the Nell Hammers that you see, you do have the flaring of the dark compared to the lighter yellow in the petals and sepals, but you don't have that the red in the lip, and I think that's what caught the attention of the people at RF. Is this was a little bit of an unusual plant, so I guess they cloned it and now they sell it. It's a prolific plant. It's nice because the plant is. It's really, the flowers are very fragrant, and it's a nice classical Cattleya fragrance. I didn't even realize this. This is not the home of this plant. I grow it up in the top part of my pergola, so it grows up here, and it's kind of hard to see things because it's crowded up there, but I didn't notice how fragrant this was until I pulled it down, and after I pulled it down, it was pretty clear that this is a really nice, fragrant Cattleya. Anyway. Let's move on from here. I got just a couple more that I wanted to share with you. And this first one I've shared with you in the past, and this is a little tiny flower right here. And it's, I'm not sure if I can even do it justice, but this is, because it's blowing around so much and it's hanging sideways, so this is Maikais stars. This is a Brassivola Maikais stars. It was made by Jim Roberts. This thing is really, it's a nice tiny plant. It's very prolific. It flowers a lot. There's just a single flower this time, but the previous time it flowered a few months ago, I think I had 4 or 5 flowers on it. So this is just a really nice plant. There's not much to the plant itself, but I have crossed this with some of my big Cattleyas, and I'm so excited to see what I get out of that. Okay, moving on, the last plant that I want to share with you is a Catasetum from Fred Clark, and that's right here. This got just torn to shreds by the hurricane. So this is all the leaves that are left from this plant. But this is what Catasetums do. They're, you know, they're deciduous. They shed the leaves. Let me go down here and show you another Fred Clark. So this is Fred Clark After Dark. That is, if you can look at it, there's a flower spike right there that's coming out, but it's got no leaves on it. It's got that huge pseudobulb that's coming out of the top of it. But let's get back to this other Fred Clark, and this is Graham Wood. The thing about this and about these flowers are just really kind of, I don't know if funny looking is the right word. They are beautiful. These are female flowers, so I've got 3 female flowers that are growing on this plant. So you get the other angles on it right here, and I'm shaking a lot because I've been holding my camera up and I'm starting to get tired. But anyway, this is a Catasetum from Fred Clark. I've had this bloom for me repeatedly in the past. I'll put what the male flowers have looked like. I'll put that up on the screen so you can see a comparison. But these are female flowers that I'm pretty excited about. I've been told that you have to have the right conditions to grow the female flowers on this plant, but this is what's here. Now, I did have another plant, a division of this plant that I was growing right below this plant, and I gifted it to a colleague, and he sent image of it the other day, and they're all male flowers on that plant. So pretty similar locations, similar treatments, similar everything, and got male flowers. But these are my first female flowers that I'm pretty excited about. Okay, that's it. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video of the tour of my some of the flowering orchids in my collection. If you enjoyed the video and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, that's all I have for you today. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.